Where do you start cutting?
Well, we can start cutting first of all. He asked where we're going to start cutting. I mean, we've got, how are you going to lower taxes and cut at the same time? We have to balance the budget. Well, we're spending a whole lot of money on things that we shouldn't be involved in. One, Department of Energy. Two, we've got the Department of Education. I would like to see the state become a little bit more competitive, take over our health care, take over all of the things that Washington should be spending time on.
Talking about expanding those, getting them back.
I'm talking about disbanding them, pushing them back to the states.
Obviously, that's from first-hand experience with immigration, at least your parents. What are your views on the illegal immigration and how would you address that in Congress?
My views on illegal immigration are the same views on anything that's illegal. I don't support anything that's illegal. I think that we should, first of all, federal government, that is something that federal governments can do. We have to allow our border security agents to pursue on public lands. Right now, they can't do that. We have to be able to track the people that are coming into this country. 60% of the people coming into this country that are here illegally are here on expired visas. So we have to be able to track what's going on there so that we don't leave burden on the state. We have to open up the front door and close the back door. We as government have this terrible practice of incentivizing and rewarding bad behavior and punishing good behavior. We've got to turn that around. We've got to we've got to open the front door.
How would you deal with the 11 million or so illegal immigrants that are here?
Well, like I said, you've got to flood the boat first before you start bailing out the water. But the states have different opportunities to do with different things in their states to deal with the issues here, and I would allow the states to do what they feel is necessary for their area.
So you would allow the states to have differing immigration laws?
When it comes to the borders, that's when federal government is involved. When it comes to dealing with the people that are here, I believe that we should let the states deal with that.
What can we learn from you said you've been mayor since 2008, is that right? On the city council since 2003?
I was on the city since 2003 and mayor since 2009.
Okay. What can we learn from your tenure? What can we learn from your tenure as mayor that you will be able to apply as a congressman?
You can learn that I have taken a city from the brink of bankruptcy to a city that now stands completely financially independent. They have the best bond rating that will ever be available to a city of our class and our size. And we're doing really well financially. And the best thing that I can do as mayor, especially when it comes to economic development, is to step out of the way. We've removed more regulation in the past 2 years than we have in our entire tenure.
I mean, since the city was incorporated.
Since the city was incorporated.
You've got two sitting representatives, well, I guess one of them is on. Are you concerned at all about being overshadowed in terms of name ID and platform and maybe experience with some of these issues?
No. No. We have a great electoral system. We have a great electoral system that makes it so that anybody who works hard and gets out and meets the delegates and has the right principles and shares the same views can be put up as a candidate and be put up as a nominee.
Do you feel like you have to overcome maybe a racial barrier or a gender barrier in this state? This state doesn't traditionally, I don't know if there's been candidates in the past that have elected someone that's African American, someone that's a female in very many offices. Is that?
I don't know. Do we feel like we have a barrier?
No.
Mayor.
I was elected 60% of the votes in this city because people care more about what's happening, what's happening in their lives, what's happening in their back pockets, what's happening in their homes, than they care about the color of somebody's skin.
Given that some of your stances are similar to some of the candidates that are already announced on the Republican side, aside from the fact that you're a woman and African American, how would you distinguish yourself from those candidates?
I am the only candidate that's actually cut a budget. Outside.
And so that's something that you can take as, well, they've cut budgets the last 2 years at the legislature. They didn't cut it as an executive.
Well, no, they've balanced the budget, they've been able, but we actually cut spending. So we had a $3.5 million shortfall, and we cut that down to $78,000. I'm talking about actually cutting spending. Our property tax here in Saratoga Springs pays for nothing but public safety.
You were back in DC recently. Have you gotten endorsements from groups back there or individuals back there that you can tell us about?
I have a lot of support from groups back there. I've got some people, especially in leadership, that have donated. I'm sure it'll probably come out in the financial disclosures.
Just tell us now then.
Okay, so Paul Ryan has donated. McCarthy has donated. Cantor has donated. To start with a few, yes.
Any organizations found those individuals?
Well, those are their PACs, but we've just started about 2 weeks ago in fundraising. So, and I'm really, really happy with the trajectory. We're doing well.
Anyone else?
Could you speak about your ability to be successful against Representative Matheson in comparison to the other Republicans who are running for this?
Well, I can tell you one thing. I am going to Washington to attack problems, not people. A lot of you get a lot of there's a lot of anger. There's a lot of I'm there to just provide solutions. I'm actually, in order for us to change this country around, we have got to convince people within our party and outside of our party that the conservative values is the only way you're going to realize the truth of the American dream.
What's your negotiating style? How do you bring people together and get them to discuss and compromise and move towards a direction? Are you a collaborator? Can you bring everyone in and say this is where we need to go, or are you more one-on-one? What's your style and how to?
As the mayor of Saratoga Springs, I don't have a vote, but I certainly have leadership, and that has come into play quite a bit. There's always common ground that you can find, and is when I find an opportunity to move something in one direction, I do it. And I hold people accountable for what they do. When there's a council member that comes out with a vote, sometimes I'll sit there and say, I just want to get it on record. Is this what you really want to do? Because and then they have to think twice about it. They have to really think about it. But it's true leadership that can get people together and start making differences. So.
Mayor, can you tell us about a time when you had to make a hard choice as mayor?
I can tell you a lot of times I had to make a hard choice as mayor. Yes, I actually had a really good friend that worked for the city. I would see this person every day because when you're working where the rubber meets the road, you see everybody all the time, especially in a city of our size. Well, I had to make a decision whether, when we had to cut our budgets, whether to keep this person on staff or not, and that was very difficult. But it is not my job. I wasn't elected as the mayor to give everyone a job. That's not my job. My job is to make sure that the city's business runs the way that responsibly, the way that the residents want me to run it. And so when that job was no longer needed, I had to let go. I had to say more. And that was difficult, especially when you see a Walmart church.
the Congressional Black Caucus, is this something you'd be looking forward to being with?
Yes, yes. I am going to join the Congressional Black Caucus and try to take that thing apart from the inside out. Because it's demagoguery. They sit there and they ignite emotions, they ignite racism when there isn't. They, you know, it's absolutely, that's the only word I can use for it, is demagoguery. They use their positions to instill fear. Hope and change is turned into fear and blame. Fear that everybody's going to lose everything, and blaming Congress for everything instead of taking responsibility for the things for being the executive. So yes, we're going to join the Congressional Black Caucus. Alan West is the only one that's there. I said, stay in there, reinforcements are coming. Thank you.